I responded to this domestic violence call, and with how our department is structured, usually we respond, uh, two vehicles, two people, just for all safety reasons. And it was a domestic violence call. It was called in by this child, and it said, "Daddy's beating mommy." You know, on the way there, I get there first. I'm first on scene, and just because the child keeps calling back and they can hear it in the background, I know it's urgent. I'm having the hardest time locating the apartment within the complex. Um, and I get pointed out the apartment by a bunch of neighbors. Oh, it's over there. It's over there. And as I'm looking at the apartment, somebody runs out the front door. Obviously, I'm in hot pursuit after this guy on foot. We make it down the block around the corner. We're in somebody's front yard, and I'm coming to recognize or realize that the person I'm out with is a female. And all I remember in my head is the child saying, "Daddy's beating mommy." So in my head, it immediately clicks. I'm like, "Oh, I'm out with the victim." So I go to talk to the victim, and the second I touched her, she turned around and she just started wailing on me. The fight was on.
Plant City, Lakeland, Tampa, all these crazy parts of the state. I don't know what to tell you boys, but it's all about South Florida, man. It's all about South Florida, fellas. No,
I think South Florida is where the term Florida man came from. So
I bet. There's no way. It came from Ocala, I guarantee you, Lake
now,
County or something like that.
Palaca.
Yeah, for sure.
Down south
Oh
in the
my
middle
God.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I had hopes for VCAT at one point in time where I wanted to be on there. Back when they were doing a summer heat and everything like that. That's when you know that's where I wanted to shine at. Doing
Right.
it over the summer, those high things you wouldn't normally do on patrol. So
Those are the original. That was like their original
Mhm.
inception of like VCAT was this
Oh,
unit
yeah.
called Summer Heat. And what we do is bring the most proactive people off the street and put it in this one unit and say, hey, you guys go out there and quell all this gun violence and all these juveniles running the streets and
Yeah.
stealing cars and breaking in stuff, and
Mhm.
then bring them to justice. And that's how the idea basically of VCAT came to fruition. Mowery was actually on our bike unit. He did a bike unit for a while. And he currently is an FTO, but we're on the same shift right now. He just does appearances during the days with packages and some live nights
Yeah.
with the show. So
Yep.
yeah, man.
Well, listen, man, Mike's run off two guys from VCAT, so there's an opening. Because the last two times I was on here, there's two openings. So
Yeah, it's true. True. I like where I'm at right now. Like, I have good supervision. These guys take care of us. Him and Booth. LT does a good job of monitoring everything we do. So I mean, it is we're comfortable. We're comfortable.
Yeah.
I joke with you, but I was a street cop every day of my career. I never wanted anything else. Like you said, if you find a place that you're comfortable with and a schedule that's good and good people to work with,
Exactly.
I don't remember being a kid and say I want to be a lieutenant. I'm just saying. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I said I want to be a cop.
Right.
So
Right.
you're right.
It didn't matter what their rank was, right? So
Exactly.
so now Mowery is doing this thing. Are you? Well, no, you didn't. You backed out of that. You're not doing that anymore. So he was an FTO, and then what the city decided to do was create an FTO shift, like a swing shift, because we used to have the swing shifts way back in the day, coming from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And he was like, that's not really conducive to my family life with my
No,
kids
I
and
got
stuff.
I got too much going on.
No, thank you.
Man, as you progress in your career, you seem to find this rhythm, and I stepped out of my comfort zone a lot going into the FTO program. I didn't want to be an FTO, not gonna lie. And I had some people push me into it, and I ended up falling in love with it. I loved being an FTO. Um, but being a good FTO has some, pros and cons. I mean, your name gets spread wide. Everybody can, trust in you, make sure you get the job done, everything like that, which is good. But the caveat to that is that unfortunately, you may get used and abused because you're a good FTO. They could depend on you, make sure, hey, he's going to train this guy right. Where you thin and know where you thin fast. So I've done it past like 6 years. So I just need a break, need to take a step back. So
You're correct. I had an FTO that his whole squad expected us to take every call. I was just rookie, and it's like, look, man, and you know why he didn't have a problem with it because he liked overtime. But I'm thinking, look, man, I can only write so many reports so fast. This is like
yeah.
phase one for me. And it just, I don't know, man. It turned me off a little bit, if I'm being honest. So when I got to the next guy, who was like a gray haired guy that looks like me right now, he was an evil genius in comparison. But he was just like, look, man, you know, I will do everything that I need to do, and I'll let you do your part along the way. You know what I mean? It's just like it just made a huge difference. But I was shagging all of their calls for the whole squad, like what kind of like, there's nights you want to go home to your family too. And if you take all of them, if you take all the paper, you ain't going home. Everybody else is driving past you. I've been there, man. That was a real turnoff for me, if I'm being honest. I never cared for that FTO. Even when I got on the street, I was like, yeah.
It's a really good stepping stone, and it's a good way to, like I said, spread good vibes throughout the whole department about your workability, your work ethic, your abilities to take care of the calls for service that come out, teach and train. But it's a lot. It's a lot to undertake. Yeah, the responsibility factor of you having to take care of, what you need to do as an FTO, but also what your trainee needs to do. Um, Twice as much paperwork. Now you got to do DORs, daily observation reports. It became a lot. So
Okay, he's a simple type of man here.
100%.
He really is.
Me and
All
you,
right,
Mike, not me and you.
me and you're a little more complicated. Mowery keeps it
Yeah,
simple. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's right. Keep the haircut the same, the tats, the shirt's always snug. You know what I mean? So the people know.
They're not trying to be snug, man. I'm growing into them. That's it.
Yes, sir. All right. So here's what I ask you: tell the people who don't know why or how you chose a career in law enforcement. Just tell them a little bit about your background.
So I guess let's start right before my jump into Daytona. Man, I never wanted to be a cop. I never thought I'd be a cop, nothing like that. I was working as a valet part time on beachside at one of our hotels, and I was doing that for as long as I can remember. Man, before then it was like fast food, stupid jobs you would get growing up, and then got lucky, went to go teach at one of our local high schools as a music director with the band, and fell in love with that. I thought I was going to do that forever, but unfortunately, it just doesn't pay the bills. One day on my way to work, lost my wallet. I don't know how I lost my wallet, but lost my wallet. A buddy of mine who was actually working at the front desk of the police department actually got the wallet. Somebody turned it in, thankfully.
Hold on. Does he still work there?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No,
I want to ask you who it is then.
Hey.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. No, but he gives me a call. He's like, "Hey, man, you missing something?" I was like, "Dude, you got it." And he told me, "Hey, you should probably be like an FTO." This was back in like 2012. But apply to be, not FTO, but a SEO. And I was like, "What is it?" I was trying to ask every question I could ask. And an SEO is a special events officer. So essentially, it's a civilian position where you come in and work special events. I took the extra steps, started driving the mobile command post around, and they want that on almost every crime scene, every event. So I was getting a lot of my foot in the door doing that. I was the only SEO that was qualified to ride the quads, the four wheelers that were out back. I was doing that, taking that to and from special events. And I did that for a couple years. I want to say it was around 2015, 2016. My career at doing valet was coming to an end. I was just getting tired of it. Like I said, I wasn't making a ton of money doing it. And the stuff with the high school band, I was coming to an end because the director was leaving. It was going to fall under new management. The stuff wasn't going the way that I wanted to. My father actually ended up getting sick, and he ended up in the hospital. And ultimately, he succumbed to his injuries inside the hospital. And when I was working for the department, at the time, the chief, which was Tilwood, Deputy Chief Capri, both came in there and they were talking to me, and they're like, "Look, you've been with the department for a little while now. We're going to offer you full ride. We'll pay for you to go to school, get it done. We want you to work for the department." So that's how I got started. It was all uphill from there. Went to the academy, graduated, you name it. So that's how my law enforcement career got kickstarted. And, I was grateful from that moment on because I never thought I would like being a police officer, and then fell in love with it, and I'm good at it now. So
Some would say.
yeah, some would say. Some would say.
I mean, you're good enough to be featured on the show, so you must be pretty okay at best.
Okay at best. Good enough to be on the show, good enough to train other officers. But
Correct.
yeah.
Can you draw any similarities from your teaching career, your band directing and
Mhm.
musical career towards what we're doing? Because listen, me and Liver were talking a little bit earlier, right? And you were in that generation where social media was really big, and you're teaching, so people have phones and people have
Mhm.
social media in there at school.
Yeah.
Livid and I aren't from that generation, and we know today that the currency of the day is attention. And so these kids all want to be seen and heard and understood in a different way than we did when we were, a little bit younger
Right.
or their age.
Right.
So can you draw a line of demarcation between teaching in a public school setting and law enforcement?
There are a lot of similarities. I'm going to say that because everybody wants to be taught differently, because you can't teach one person the same way. Honestly, it's about adapting. In any situation, you're going to have to adapt, especially when it comes to teaching somebody who learns a very specific way. Not everybody responds to being criticized or yelled at, being talked down to. And I mean, I know on law enforcement standpoint, that was, old teachings, old, you're going to do this because I told you to, and I know that's kind of swayed away, especially with social media and the way things are now with the public society. Everybody wants to feel they're top by what they're worth. You know what I mean? As an individual. Unfortunately, you run into a lot of the same people. I mean, the only difference is that we would have to enforce. We also take the person in custody, as opposed to just sending them off to detention. We're actually going hands on, so there's a level where you got to figure out compliance issues and stuff like that. So,
And listen, and I would argue, and I'm sure Livy would say the same thing. I think the job of an educator
mhm,
is even more difficult than the job of a law enforcement officer,
that's
because
true.
we have a certain authority that we can assert
Right.
because we have a badge and a
Yeah.
uniform and a firearm.
And they're kind of
People
restrained.
correct. People
Right.
expect us, when we put hands on a child or an adult in a school setting, that
I
we're
think part of that,
following the law.
I think part of that too is that they're restrained, but they're always expected to do more. So, and
Just like law enforcement, they just keep adding more
100%.
property, right?
Yeah. Yep. So they always want them. Well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Well, and we tried. We can only do so much, and in all reality, you can only do so much.
Me and Mike were talking about this earlier. It's kind of to go with what you're saying there. How do you think being a cop since then has changed the way you perceive the same situation? Like, say, and I know me and Mike, I told him, like, I'm a little tainted as far as like, I'm looking around the room. So if you was in that same room full of people at a concert, let's just say at high school, what would being a cop have changed about your personality? Because mine's definitely different. You know what I mean? The First casualty is innocence.
Yeah, tainted is that's a soft word I would use. People suck this day and age, man, and that's just being brutally honest. I mean, you can't trust anybody, and let's just take current recent events that me and him are used to right now with what happened with the officer in Edgewater. Off duty, walks into a convenience store not expecting it, and look what happened. So now, I can't even go to a convenience store anymore, you know, in normal clothes. I can't go into Publix, I can't go grocery shopping. Come on. It's tainted is a very soft word. But trust issues through the roof. Scanning the room, all exits, I'm looking at people to see if they're looking at me too long, you know? So
Well, I'm 57. Well, I will be next week.
um,
And what you just described is me now, not me in
yeah,
uniform.
yeah.
So just so you know,
No, it's definitely a situation where society has gotten far worse. To make it a little bit lighter, because we all know the dangers of the job. When we're cops here, some of the civilians watching this may not understand, but they hear the story as well. But I want to ask you, Rob, what do you do to maintain a healthy work-life balance? I know you have kids. I know you love cars. Kind of tell us what you do to maintain that healthy side.
You gotta keep man, you gotta keep life and work separate. 100%. I separate myself from the job the second I come home, take off the uniform. Um, and everybody that I surround myself with knows that. They know, hey, if I'm out of uniform, I'm out of uniform. I'm a normal guy. I don't want to be asked a bunch of cop questions. I don't care what happened to you. You know, whoever down the line in Ohio, can I help them out with a ticket? No. You know what I mean? Because we've all been asked that. um, I'm just a simple guy, man. I'm a father. I got a daughter. I separate myself from the job as much as possible. You know, uh, that being said, training and experience have showed me, hey, you always got to keep your head on a swivel as well. So um, that you got to find hobbies. Got to find a hobby. Got to do something. Yeah, cars, uh, theme parks, man. Like I do it all. Video games, hitting the gym. Hey, you got to do something other than surround yourself with just the job. So
What's your favorite theme park? What's your favorite video game? And if you could have only one car and money wasn't an object, what's your dream car?
So favorite theme park. Right now, I'm gonna have to go with Cedar Point up in Ohio. Have a great time. All the roller coasters you can get on. They do their own Halloween special. Had an absolutely blast up in Ohio.
Sandusky? Is that where that is?
Come on, man, don't do that. Oh no.
My bad, dog. My bad.
I've only been. All right. Favorite video game: God of War. God of War, man. The storytelling behind it, role playing game. It's an amazing game. I play every single one of them. I hope they come out with more. So let's see. And
PC or console?
right, I got both. Uh, right now, I mean, God of Wars I play on the console, but you know, my daughter's back there playing her video games now, screaming at her friends. So that and right, VR, VR, man, VR is legit. So and favorite car, money is not an option. The part of me wants to say a supercar because I mean you just can't beat, you know, how they look, how they perform. So yeah, it'd be a Lycan Hypersport. Lycan Hypersport. I think it's like a 2, 3, $4 million car.
I can't afford the oil change on that one.
Hey,
So
nobody can. Nobody can. They only made so many of them.
I'm getting old, so I'm more of the old school car, like a '70 Hemi Cuda. That's
Okay.
still worth probably a good couple, $300,000, $400,000. But you know, all the electronic stuff, man, I could roll the windows down. You know what I'm saying?
hmm I'd still probably throw some type of stereo system in the hypercar. So
Nah,
Oh, he's
yeah.
a crazy audio guy, Living.
I make crazy autos, so maybe we'll get together with that.
I got you.
So Rob has had custom vehicles that he's done himself.
Mhm.
with the audio system,
Yeah.
fiberglass, all the wiring, lighting. Talk to us about your maybe your favorite project that you've built and what's on the horizon.
Man,
Future car setup or what?
so right now I got this cool side by side that I'm working on, but I'll get to that second. I guess my favorite project that I've had so far would have been my Camaro. Right before I sold it, so you always move on to something new. But I had everything in there. Had it when it was stock. Bought it, you know, slightly used back in like 2015. Had it up until just a few months ago, and I've done everything to it. So, and now I'm working on the side by side that I got. I love that thing. I want to throw this killer sound system in that, make it all show worthy, and then just run it through mud.
Hobbies and priorities. You got rid of your Miata. You still have your Miata, or no? You sold it.
Sold it. Sold it.
So as you see, you're talking to a vehicular flipper here. This guy, I'm telling you, man, he's been through some cars in the
Mhm.
12 years I've known him is nuts.
Yeah. I keep them for a little while. I got to work on them, build them up, do what I like to them, use them the way I want to use them, and then, you know, got to move on.
So what are you working with now that you're selling all these cars off?
So I have my pickup truck, which is basically brand new. I'm scared to touch that thing because the way the electronics are nowadays inside of vehicles. I got my personal bike downstairs that I just rebuilt. Um, Nice Honda CBR Crocs Rocket. So and now my side by side stuff. Kind of simplified things, got rid of some vehicles, and that's it.
He's a very busy guy. On top of being a father, being an instructor, a lot of people he's teaching in our academies currently.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it's just a lot to it. But here's what I want to ask you, because a lot of people don't understand this role, right? And we make mistakes. So describe for us a time when you had to make a split second decision. It was a high stakes decision. Was it
Well,
good or bad? The outcome worked out well for you. Anything that you could think of in your past?
yeah, I want to say I responded to this domestic violence call, and with how our department is structured, usually we respond, uh, two vehicles, two people, just for all safety reasons. And it was a domestic violence call. It was called in by this child, and it said, "Daddy's beating mommy." You know, on the way there, I get there first. I'm first on scene, and just because the child keeps calling back and they can hear it in the background, I know it's urgent. Um, I- I'm having the hardest time locating the apartment within the complex. Um, and I get pointed out the apartment by a bunch of neighbors. Oh, it's over there. It's over there. And as I'm looking at the apartment, somebody runs out the front door. Obviously, I'm in hot pursuit after this guy on foot. We make it down the block around the corner. We're in somebody's front yard, and I'm coming to recognize or realize that the person I'm out with is a female. And all I remember in my head is the child saying, "Daddy's beating mommy." So in my head, it immediately clicks. I'm like, "Oh, I'm out with the victim." So I go to talk to the victim, and the second I touched her, he turned around and she just started wailing on me. The fight was on. We went to the ground. We went to the ground. She started grabbing at my gun. She stabbed me with my own pens. It was just all bad. And in my head, I'm just like, this is the victim. Like, I'm like, I don't want to use too much force because the last thing I want to happen in the public's eyes is cop uses force on a domestic violence victim. That's what the headline's going to say. So in my head, I'm just running through that. I'm like, I'm just trying to restrain her, even though she's going at it. So, like I said, she stabbed me with my own pen. She's grabbing up my gun, and you know, I had to wait for half the unit to show up because they're hearing all this unfold on the radio. And get her restrained, get her in the backseat of the car. She fights like five of us. It's just the fight was on the whole time since I got out with her. Come to find out, it was a suspect, and it was a domestic relationship between two females. And I kind of got mad at myself because I'm like, we assume, right? We assume because what we see, perception's everything. I was mad that I refused to believe in my head that this person could have also been a suspect. So uh, lack of better judgment there. I don't know what it was, let down my guard, and we're all guilty of it. So it is what it is, man. But I always think back to that moment because, hey, it could have gone way worse. Could have got way worse, and there was not enough information there for me, and it progressed past that point. Because come to find out, like a week later, he gets released, goes back, does the same thing, and it was just like a never-ending saga for a little while there. So there was just no way of preventing the violence. Like she was going to do what she wanted to do regardless. So yeah, I don't know, kind of beat myself up after the fact because lack of better judgment. I just assumed the whole time. So
Could live it.
Yeah, and the thing about the story and the way you told it is you could tell when someone's got a good soul because you are beating yourself up. There are some men out there that would have done that and would have eaten a burrito and gone to sleep and never thought about it again. Uh, when you still have that inner, you want inner peace in your life. You know what I mean? Some
mhm.
people are just out there looking for whatever, but you can tell that you're still holding on to that I don't know, stuff, that societal things that make you normal, right? So like I said, you can tell a lot about someone's personality by the way they tell a story, and it impacted you even though you weren't the victim technically. You know what I mean? Like you had empathy for what was going on, even though you couldn't fix it.
And that was one of the questions I was going to ask you about misconceptions in law enforcement, and that you just detailed one right there. We've all fall victim to our own preconceived notions at some point in our career. Luckily for the three of us here talking, it hasn't been fatal for us. But many officers, it has been fatal because you hear this all the time. There's no such thing as a routine anything in law enforcement. Okay. The guy that is a trespasser, one of our friends who was on the shift with us now,
Yeah,
killed the guy, and it was a
mm,
trespasser with a
yeah,
transient, because the
yeah.
guy stabbed him. You know, traffic stops, inherently dangerous. Domestics are even worse. So we've seen it on shoplifting calls. The guy wants to run, the guy wants to fight, the guy's got a gun, he's got a needle, he's trying to stab you, it's like, what's happening here? And it's been that like that since the dawn of time. Evil is just evil, and the misconception for us is this is a routine call. Talk to us a little bit about when you're training people, how you break that cycle.
You got to get them out of the comfort zone. You got to purposely put these trainees in predicaments where there's a potential where the unexpected is going to happen. And I say that as, I mean, they've never done bike stops. So what are you going to do? You're going to make them do 1,000,001 bike stops, right? And then you think can happen on those. So when I say bike stops, bicycle stops, there are a ton of laws that go behind those, and a lot of people just aren't really well informed when it comes to being on a bicycle and riding them around town in the roads, whatever. Um, Getting out with the transient that's causing issues that normally you would let walk away. You know, you got to put them in like the most unexpected decision, like situations. See what kind of decision process they go through. You know, uh, Criticize them when they've done bad. You know, and then praise them when they do good. So you kind of just teach, inform, and move on to the next subject, and hopefully they retain some of the information that they've learned from you or other FTOs.
Liv, I know you were a trainer for a while. You worked in the training department for a while, did background checks, things of that nature. That's got to be the most rewarding part of the job for you, for us, right? When you see the light switch flip on, and they're like, "Oh, I get it now," because it's
Mhm.
a scenario you created for them or a picture you've painted. It likens, for me, a scripture. The Bible says, when speaking of Jesus, and the word became flesh and dwelt amongst them. The Bible was one thing, but Jesus was that spoken word into reality. And that's what happens with laws and traffic stops in police work. It becomes flesh. It's like, oh, I remember seeing that video on YouTube.
Mhm.
Now I'm out with this guy. Evil has a different face in every different jurisdiction. So, Livy, can you talk a little bit about that in conjunction with what Mowery was saying?
I was going to say that for the people, a lot of people don't know the inner workings like we do. When he said, uh, if they haven't done bike stops, most people don't know that the administrative side, he's got a book in his hand that shows what this guy has done and what they haven't done. So when he says something like, the average person's like, well, how do you know what he's? Because there's a book that says work a bank robbery, pat someone down, handcuffing. And every one of those things has to be checked off in order for you to get turned loose with some type of expectation met. You know what I mean? You can't just muddle your way through this book. And I just wanted to touch on that real quick because the average person doesn't. If you say, "Hey, have you ever worked a bank fraud?" There's a book that says they did or not. You know what I mean? So you can specifically target what people's weaknesses are,
Mhm.
what and you're saying, "Hey, what do you need work in?" If they need work in like suspicious people at the store, which is Danny Brown's thing,
Yeah.
then that's what you do, because
Yeah.
it's very uncomfortable walking up to people who's just standing on the corner. You know what I mean? For the average Joe, it's very uncomfortable to walk up to 5 guys. But once you master that part, because talking to the victims is easy. You're like, "Hi, ma'am. What's the problem? How can I help you?" It's when you walk up to 5 guys who've got their hands behind their back and look like they want to take off running in 5 different directions that you start to learn. So like you say, it's a beautiful thing when you see a ding 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 situation happen for someone like,
Mhm.
I did it now,
Mhm.
you know. Um, I think that is the most rewarding thing about being a trainer. It's just, you feel like maybe you put your little stamp in the world, because once you realize a lot of it's repetition, you want to share what you know with people, because a lot of people don't know what you know. You know what I mean? And it's like, I knew a cop that was on the job for 20 years, never chased a bank robbery, like active right then and there.
Jeez.
And I was a cop for like 2 months, and I'm like, I'm chasing bank robbers. Like, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Um, but that's the way it's luck of the draw. It's luck of the draw, whether you're the guy fighting in the parking lot
Mhm.
or whether you're the guy being nice at a birthday party that you got called to turn the noise down. You never know.
You touched on something there, Livid, and Mary. I kind of want you to interject, because you were an FTO for so long. Can you talk a little bit about that process of training, and then flip the switch for us, and then talk about how you take some of that same, and because I know how it is, you take some of that same dynamic learning and teaching and infuse it into what you do on the show.
So so he mentioned the workbook. The good thing about the workbook is like he said, it tells me everything this trainee has or has not done. There are also notes inside these workbooks from other FTOs that, you know, state, hey, I've noticed this. If you can work on this, if you can work on this, has a hard time talking to people. If you can make them go to Bucky's and talk to 30 people, that'd be awesome. Yeah, Bucky's great training tool. Uh, I mean that in itself, being an FPO has given me the ability to be able to discuss or describe and go into more detail about what I'm doing when it comes to the show aspect, or showing my trainee as well what I'm doing. Hey, I'm gonna stop this vehicle. This is why I'm stopping this vehicle. You know, XYZ. And as it develops, continue explaining why it's going the way that it's going. So whether it be a traffic stop, domestic situation, any call for service, it's helped me in terms of the show, because hey, I could just look at whoever's sitting in the passenger seat with that camera and tell them the same exact thing. Hey, stop this car. This is why I'm going to stop the car. So
It's amazing how that equates, right?
yeah,
And
crazy.
and for those of you watching and listening to this is something Livid completely understands this. When you got
Mhm.
somebody sitting in your seat, just like the camera guy sitting right next to us, um, you become so comfortable because you're just talking to those guys in the car with you, just like you're talking to the trainee, right? And it's you almost forget the camera's there sometimes, right? And next thing you know, the two cameras that are in front of you in the windshield, one facing out and one facing you, don't see them anymore. And just talking to Brandon or you're talking to Alex. And next thing you know, or any of the other 4 or 5 camera guys we've had here, you're talking about wrestling or you're talking about food or sports. And next thing you know,
Very, very personable guy.
very personal.
They
Next thing you know,
they
a
make
car
the job easy,
Yep.
so
Yep. A
enjoyable.
car a car runs a light in front of you or you get a call. Hey, and you're just chit-chatting about the call. It's the best thing. It's kind of like these little interviews we do. We start talking before the interview starts. Next thing you know, I hit the record button and we're off. I love it. I want to get Livid in one of these cars with us. What do you think, Livid? You come over and hang out with us sometime this month?
I wear my printed on police shirt. Got the printed on badge, gun belt, and everything on there.
Sheriff, what's his name from Dukes of Hazzard? What's his name again?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're poppycock.
There you
Yeah,
go. Let's go,
yeah.
baby.
I will tell you this: the most impactful thing an FTO ever said to me. A much older man. He called me a boy, which I was in my 20s, and he was in his 50s. He said, "As long as you don't kill anybody today for no reason, there ain't nothing you can mess up that I can't fix." That
Mm.
was the moment in my life as a cop where I carried that further than I carried any other thing an FTO ever told me, because he just made me know, look, you can't mess up so bad unless you just do the ultimate. You know what I mean? And it just, I don't know, that stuck with me for a long time. And I used to tell people that too. Look, I'm a very good report writer. Don't worry about it. If unless you unless you kill somebody, and I mean that, like you might have to, but unless you just do something that's so wild, there's nothing I can't help you fix. It put me at ease. Because remember, I've never driven around typing on a laptop. I've never driven around with a gun on my waist. I've never had people flag me down for no reason. I don't know what they want me for. All those things make you uncomfortable. And this one thing this guy said just stuck with me. He's like, you know what? We got it. We've got this. And I never learned more than I did from that guy. Period.
Mm.
And he was 30 years in, a regular old street cop. He was perfectly fine with being a regular old street cop. He didn't want to be supervisor. He didn't want to be a canine officer. And I don't know, that guy just impacted me greatly. You know what I mean? It just there's just something that you had, because I did get hazed in the 90s. There was some hazing going on in FTO.
What?
And yeah, yeah. But that
No,
guy,
none of
man,
that.
yeah. I was going to ask Mowery if he waits for people to go into the bathroom right when they get into the bathroom and then calls them. Yeah, and that way when they call back, there's the yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in the yeah. I don't care what code you use. People know you're in the bathroom, guy.
Yeah. They hear the echo. That's it.
But you know, it's nice to see personable people, and they probably were pushing you to be an FTO because you are personable. Um,
Yeah, probably.
it takes a certain character.
Well, it's not just you mentioned personable, but also knowledgeable, right? You got to be
Yeah,
fair, right? You got to have some type of sense of humor. And you know what you got to have most of all? You got to have you got to be a human being. I understand this
yeah,
guy's got to use the bathroom. I'm not going to go to that call right now. The guy's got to go to the
yeah,
bathroom. Hold it for us, okay? All
Yeah.
right. We don't got to
Yeah.
run and take 17 reports and hold them. The guy's struggling. Let's take a step back. All right. We can go in the parking lot in the back. We can talk it out. Hey, you got struggles at home, and a listening ear. And most of all, people like Mowery and people, most of our FTOs are that way. The guys and girls who aren't, they aren't FTOs for long because the trainees will talk amongst themselves and go to the bosses and tell the bosses, you got a problem here. And if they don't tell them, they're doing themselves and their buddies a disservice. Would you agree with that, Rob?
Yeah. I think our department actually gives the trainees an FTO evaluation page that they can also fill out as well. So it does good for actually holding FTOs that shouldn't be FTOs accountable. So uh, I think our department does a good job managing who is an FTO and who isn't an FTO, and it's made training and progressing through the department, that much better. So
We're speaking with Officer Robert Mowery, 12 years, Daytona Beach PD, fan favorite of On Patrol Live, very wise guy, very personable, friend of the show. We appreciate what you're doing. We're going to get you out here. We're going to ask you a couple more questions. And I just want you to be as real as possible. I know you got some stuff going on in the house, family's over. Tell me this. How has your career changed the way you see people and society? I know we talked about what happened with Officer Jewell too long ago, but give me a more positive outlook, something that you noticed while on patrol, working in the city. Because I know you live close enough that you see things. What has changed? You're a native Floridian, a native Volusia County guy. What has changed about your society since you got into this career?
I think due to technology, people have a little bit more of an insight to our job. And it's kind of opened a lot of people's eyes in a positive way, kind of see what we go through. Uh, not more so just with work, but on a personal level, some of the challenges we have to face, mental health issues, just trying to make it through the job day to day and the standing as it is now. You know what I mean? In the day to day situation, 2025, almost 2026 in this day and age. So for the longest time, I know law enforcement, due to, you know, the rise in whatever is going on in society, had X's on their backs for the longest time. And I think society's now at that turning point to where, due to transparency and the transparency we've built on the show, and, you know, it's kind of opened a lot of people's eyes to what we go through and be a little bit more understanding to what it's like to be a law enforcement officer. I'm grateful for shows like On Patrol Live, because they show just how crazy Daytona can get, or just how fun Daytona can get, or just how quiet Daytona can get too. So it's just I think in more of a sense, it's been a lot of positive, because people love seeing us on the show. People love seeing Daytona on the show. We've built great um, public support, especially within our community. And thankfully, when people see the cameras, a lot of the times it solves the issue itself. So that's it.
Right on, live it.
I'll be honest with you. I think Daytona Beach, talking to Dan Abrams here, could carry a spinoff on their own if they used earlier in the day edits. I
Hmm.
believe that between what we see with VCAT and the regular, I believe they could carry their own show at this point. I'm in chat groups, just like the regular people. I hear the people talking all the time, and I know who they like and love and want to see. And it just seems to me like as soon as VCAT pops on, or Daytona Beach, which is often, it's often, and you never know what it's going to be either. You know what I mean? So I truly believe. I know they like to do this thing where it's like 6 or 7 different places, but I don't know. I think people have their favorites, and you're there.
Yeah.
Dan Abrams, Reels, we're talking to you. Dan, hear me
We need to
out.
stop playing the games. Dan needs to be on the back of a motorcycle or inside of a car for one of these shows. They need to come down here and they need to experience Daytona as Daytona. Mid-event, bike week, Biketoberfest, spring break, yeah, Jeep week, you name it. It's something.
The 300th episode is Biketoberfest weekend. Could we see somebody from the studio in Daytona? Could we see some of our fan favorites from the road in other agencies in Daytona? We don't know. There's possibilities, Rob. We shall see, won't we?
I'll take whoever right next to me. That's it. Right next to me.
I got a good feeling about this.
Yeah.
300th episode coming to you. We're talking to Officer Robert Mowery. Hey, Rob, one more thing. What's something people would be surprised to know about you outside of uniform? Could be all those tats you got. Give me something. Give them something to feast on.
I'm a nerd, man. 100%. 100%. Oh, yeah. Under all the tattoos and being a father and all that, I go, man. I read comics, love superheroes. Uh, Anything that has to do with superhero, I make sure I watch the movie. I'm traveling to go see movies in IMAX because there was superheroes, man. It's my itch. Both of my tattoos are all superhero related. Um, yeah, that's it, man. I'm a nerd.
We know a guy too.
Yeah,
Hey, Mike, we know a guy.
Yeah, our buddy Danny Rebellos from Everett is a big. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that interview we did with him, and he's on the show regularly. He's a big superhero comic guy. Green Lantern's his guy.
Green
Who's
Lantern. Hey, I got
yeah,
the oath right here, man. That's it.
there, there it
Okay,
is.
there it is.
Space cop.
Okay,
We like to have fun. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are just men and women doing a career. We put our pants on one leg at a time. We breathe the same air. We bleed the same blood as you. Because we have a little bit of authority, it doesn't go to our head for the majority of us. There are some bad actors. We should try to weed those out, but you won't find those bad actors on OPO recaps. Okay, we only bring you the truest. Okay, we only bring you the realest, and we got more real coming for you. But for tonight, Robert Aloysius, right? Your middle
no,
name? No.
no, what? Don't listen. Don't listen. He's lying.
I do his evals. His middle name's Aloysius. If you're looking him up,
No,
Robert Aloysius Mowery, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm letting you know he's lying.
Oh, we really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. I'm chilling.
Do us a favor.
hmm
Tell the people how they can follow you. Give them your phone number. No, I'm just kidding about it. What's your social media handles?
So I'm new to Instagram. Some of the guys helped me set it up. Just kind of to keep people off personal Facebook. OPL_Officer Mowery. Best way to follow me. I'm posting a lot of stuff. Before the show, after the show, pictures, videos, you name it. So go ahead and give me a follow.
Check our boy out when you come to Daytona Beach. Whenever you're here, vacation, or if you live here, stop by the PD. Ask for him, ask for me, ask for your fan favorites. We're here for you. Listen, you're watching OPL recaps, okay? This is the People's Podcast. We're the men of the people, all right? All right. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We enjoy you. Hey, do us a favor while you're still here. Click that like button down at the bottom of your screen. Click that, that follow, that subscribe, that thing right there, and then share it with your friends. Say, hey, listen, how are you not watching OPL recaps yet? We got all these fantastic interviews, handsome, fit fellas like Officer Mowery, wearing their hearts on their sleeves. I know me and Livid are the old guys on scene, but guess what? We're happy to talk to the young and upcoming guy as he fidgets with his hair. All right, so appreciate you. We're going to go through the list of DBPD. Some of the other agencies, I'm getting to know these guys, and they're a little bit shy. We had a couple of fan favorites from other agencies who are no longer on the show on the hook. Some of their admin kind of shot it down. But hey, we're always trying to bring you all your favorite guests from the show, and we're trying to humanize. We're trying to put not just a badge, but a body to the badge, a brain to the badge, so you know that, hey, we're real human beings. So follow my boy, Livid_PD on all socials, Instagram, X. You got a Facebook still or no?
Use it, man. I never updated anything because I was very private, like my man right here.
Looking like a true old head.
Yeah.
No pictures of my house online. No pictures of where to find that.
And if, you know what, we got some social media detectives out here, Rob. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These people will part and parcel things together. Next thing you know, I had a fan show up at my house before. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Come on.
That's one of the reasons I was like, this is getting weird. He was performing a service, but after he got done performing that service, he started talking about the show, and I was like, oh no, he has my address. This is not good. So that's neither here nor there. But and listen, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Follow my boy Rob. Follow Livid. We're gonna come back to you maybe in a week or so. Well, no, fantastic OPL recaps interview. All right, y'all. We appreciate it. Peace.
Okay. Bye.